Hey, this is what I want you to do. I want you to steal this financial plan that I have for the 2024. It is working. I tried it last year. It is working, and you can as well pick it up. Guess what? Just like an iron sharpens another iron, so do we learn from each other. Whatever I usually say, obviously, some of them, yes, I did invent, and some of them usually learn from different people. So there's some of the things that I can share, do, or maybe, be out there and you can pick it up and incorporate it in your life and be able to progress and do something. All right. So this is my plan of the 2024. And again, this is sort of not even a plan for the 2024. This is exactly what you're supposed to be incorporating as far as your finances are concerned. And by the way, you can pick it up and you have an option of going again and adjusting the budget of whatever I'm doing and whatever my plan is, so that at least it can, sort of become a customization for you and can actually fit exactly what you need. All right, so let's get into the business. All right, now the point number one, obviously I do have a plan. Okay, and I do have a plan, and it means it's a strategy that I'm working towards, achieving, that can actually believe that it's gonna work, and it actually works, and it's about finances. And one of the plan is this. For me, I usually believe and I understand the importance of diversification. All right, what is diversification? Diversification is whereby you don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's whereby you actually diversify. You are into this, that, and the other one, so that at least, hey, you never know. This is life. And let me tell you one secret about life. The most predictable thing about life is unpredictability. You cannot predict it. So it's always good to make sure that you diversify. So I usually love to have what we call a diversified or diversification portfolio of investment. Okay? Portfolio of investment. What does it mean? I usually prefer, when I have my resources in this way, I prefer some 65. I prefer 65. I prefer another one like 15, and I prefer another one like 10, right? Another one like 10. What do I mean? 65, this is the money that is going towards the investment. This is money that I usually love when it is in the investment. And this 15% is the money that I usually prefer having it in cash, right? Having it in cash. You never know, in terms of the liquid cash, I can access it anytime I want. Probably you might call this one emergency fund or something of sort, because obviously I tell people, maybe on the investment one you have maybe soft, or maybe you have like hard assets, okay? And the other one, you have soft assets. Okay, soft assets. What do I mean by this? The hard assets are like the piece of property. Maybe let's talk of a land. You have a business or something of sort. But although a business is kind of different from an investment, but in one way or the other, maybe you have some rentals or something. So now that is an investment. That is the hard assets. The soft asset, you can have some bonds, you can have some bills, you can have some sort of an MMF, of which I love very much. You can have some stocks or shares or something of sort. That's a soft investment. Okay, now this one falls under the 65% of the investment portfolio. This is what is actually generating money. This is what is generating what? Money. All right, this what is generating money is actually what gives me what we call the baby monies, or the passive income to pay my bills and continues to the next level. Now the 15%, I prefer it having it in cash form. Cash form in the sense that, hey, it's a money that if I just show up to my bank, I can be able to withdraw it and pay my bills. I always tell people, you can never you can never do shopping, you can never show up to a grocery store with a title deed. You can't do that. You cannot do shopping with a title deed. You need cash, you need money. All right, and it's always good to have it at your disposal, just for the sake. And if you're an adult, you already know this life is full of those and expectations, so it's very good to have that cash at hand. All right, now the next thing of 10%, this is the amount of money that I usually love to say, hey, this is that money that is potentially investable. You see, potentially investable, meaning let's say I don't want to touch anything that is being generated from the 65%. Okay, now this 10% is that money that I say it's a money that is potentially investable, in the sense that I can be able to see an opportunity coming up. I don't have to go to that account of mine that is called the personal account. There is that personal account, where you said this is money, and this is money that you can be able to withdraw anytime. Let's say somebody is telling me, hey, Joseph, lend me 2,000, 1,000 or something of sort. This is where I get that amount of money. And of course, the other 10 also, you'll see they kind of marry each other with this 15% one. But let me just explain the 10%. This is up in potential investable amount of money. Is that cash that is actually set card out there, and I can be able to invest it anytime that is coming. Maybe an opportunity shows up, maybe I realize there is opportunity, I can be able to tap it. Okay, for me, and again, this may not be applicable to you. I said use your own specific one. But for me, I'm this kind of an individual who I have a little bit of a risk appetite. Maybe I can be able to grab an opportunity. May appear as if it's a little bit dicey, but I can just get into it and maybe get what I'm gonna get out of it and then get out of it. All right. I'm this kind of an individual who will invest in different things and different areas. I can be in bills, in bonds, and what have you. And then I realize there is opportunity with food products. I can be able to buy it. Maybe there is a harvest. I can buy some maize. I can resell it. I mean, is that money I can be able to jog around with it? Okay. But remember one thing, I have my stable 65 somewhere where it is actually close to, should I say 100%, like sure, like everything is good. All right. Now, the last 10% is this amount of money that you put it out there, just in case the 15 is not enough, and also for the purposes of sustaining myself. Maybe I want to read, maybe I want to buy something, maybe I want to self-improve myself, maybe I want to work on my production in terms of the content creation and all those kind of things. So the 10% is usually set aside for that purposes. This 65% is for my long term, is for my future, is for my everything to do with my future is actually under the 65%. The 15% for my sustainability is to pay my bills and all those kind of things, all right? But sometimes the 15% may not be enough. That's why I can be able to borrow from the 10. Now, borrowing from the 10 in the sense that, hey, I can be able to grab, if I try my best to survive on the 15, but if I can be able to borrow from the 10 to actually top up on the 15 for me to survive myself and be able to pay all my bills and sustain myself as I progress to the next level. The 10%, that is the amount of money that I say, hey, guess what? This amount of money is for me, is for my development, potential, when I see an opportunity out there as the time goes. Now, where do I get this amount of money? This amount of money is actually gotten from this 65%. What do I mean? Like the returns that I usually get from this, I can decide to either invest all of it if I'm okay, maybe I do have some good cash flow, or I can decide, hey, out of the cash flow that is being generated from the 65%, I can be able to channel it and top up these other three baskets. Okay, that is exactly how I view it. That's how I actually go ahead and pursue my dreams as the life goes on. Now, this is the point. So when I distribute it in 4 different areas, does it mean necessarily I must have the 4 accounts? Well, of course, yes, but sometimes no. I usually prefer you having at least 3 accounts, bank accounts, okay? So you having 3 bank accounts, you usually have, say you're employed, you must have the checking account or the landing account, depends on how you call it. The other one is about personal, the other one is about development, okay? Or the savings, or whichever the amount of money that you put aside for the sake of your development. Now, this amount of money, this 65% is hardly it's not in liquid cash. It is not in liquid cash. It is out there. It is working. It is the money on the go. That's how I love to frame it. It's a money on the go. The 15% I said is purely in cash form. The 10% again, it's purely in cash form. And the 10% again is purely in cash form. What do I mean? Like 35% of my money is basically purely in cash form, but they are dedicated for different purposes. Okay. And the 15% I already know means this amount of money. I may not have like all of these accounts together, but I know, hey, whatever I have out there, 15% is aimed at doing exactly this, and that one I'm being guided by the budgeting that I have. And the 10% I know, hey, this is amount of money that I can be able to play around with. Because let's say you have your rentals, you have your investments, you have your bills, you have your shares, you have MMF, like you're settled, you're good. But you see, as a human being, we always love to say, hey, an opportunity can show up. And for example, we are just about from the holidaying season and all those kind of things. For example, things to do with goats, the sheep, those kind of things, they were selling, and it's an opportunity that you could have grabbed. You see, you cannot go and dissolve your MMF to be able to invest in an area that you do not really understand well. But if you can have like a 10% somewhere of your salary, of your money set aside, then you can be able to use this amount of money and you can risk it in any way you want. And by the way, a lot of people may think that you have a high risk appetite, I don't know what, but you have a controlled way of investing your money. You're not risking the entire stage of money that you're having out there. That is exactly what I would recommend you to do out there. But again, I said, whatever I'm doing right here, that is applicable for me. It is different from you, because hey, we cannot just borrow something from somebody and put it on top of you and assume that it's gonna work. What you do is that you ask yourself, will the 10% be enough? No or yes? Now, if you answer that question, then you'll know exactly where you can be able to diversify yourself. All right. So it's always good to make sure that what you get from me, it's actually a base foundation of what you're supposed to do. So if you ask me, what would I recommend you to do? I'll recommend you to diversify. Do not have all your asset in one form. It is good to make sure that you diverse, unless this, I'll put this disclaimer here. Let's say you have all your money in a bank, but you're aiming in reaching a certain percentage or a certain amount of money for you to be able to invest. There is no problem with that. That is a dedicated bank account. That's a dedicated amount of money. You're storing it, you're accumulating it. You want to reach a certain goal for you to be able to take that money, be able now to invest it out here. There is nothing wrong with that. Unless maybe you're just having that money just lying there in a bank and you do not even know what you're doing, you don't want to invest, you've even not bothered even to invest, and all those kind of things. So it's always good to make sure that you draw the line, you understand your numbers, so that at least you can be able to progress to the next level. And let me tell you one secret. Whatever I've just shared here with me, it's actually easier said than done. That's very true, because I'm likely to get that comment. I didn't say it is easier done than said. The fact remains that this one requires dedication, sacrifice, and discipline, and consistency. You have to have those three things or those four things together for you to actually realize this. And that's why I said, the previous video I said, make sure that you do X and X as far as the first 100 days are concerned. If you can be able to assume to this, if you can be able to assume this character, rest assured, in a period of 1 year, 2 or 3, you're gonna get yourself in a situation whereby you have your finances covered and everything would be good. All right, now, simple terms, as I finish up on this, make sure that you do not put all your eggs in one basket. Even if you want to invest on MMF, pick like 2 or 3. If you want to invest on bills or stocks, make sure that at least you pick 1 or 2. If you want to invest on different areas, make sure that at least your money is not in one basket. COVID-19, which came in 2020, actually taught us a very big lesson. And if you never learned any lesson, I'm telling you, as far as the finance is concerned, you're doing a grievous mistake. It is not good to have all your one assets or all your things focused in one area. Diversify as much as you can. And when you diversify, by the way, they usually say have at least 7 streams of income. Well, I know you may not be able to build that within a single sun, or maybe sometimes you may not be able to do so in an year or two. But if you can be able to continuously do so in a certain period of time, you're gonna earn yourself a very, very good reputation as far as the finance is concerned. And you won't even worry in one way or the other. Just diversify, be on different platforms, and that's how you grow yourself. For now, it's a goodbye, but don't ever forget this. My number is always on the description of this specific video. Pick it up, shoot me a call for just a cup of coffee's price. We take you through on how to invest and how to grow yourself. For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.